Okay, we're going to go over setup for your magazine pages. All right, we're going to use Photopea. It's not the ideal program for it, but it should do everything that we want it to do. We're going to go New Project, and you're going to click on Print. We want to use letter size. Okay, the paper size is going to be standard printer paper. Okay. Hit letter, make sure you're at 300 dpi and you're in inches. It should all be set right just by using the preset. And hit create. Okay, there's your page. Now, if you're doing more than one page, there's a couple ways we can do it. We can do it as an 11 by 17, or rather 17 wide by 11, so it's 2 pages. But I think it'd be better if we do them on separate pages because we're not sure how they're going to fit in the book, whether it's going to be a spread or it'll be back to back. So I think probably the best way is to do it like this as separate pages. All right. So first thing I would do is I would turn on the rulers. And let's see, can we set this to inches? Okay. You're going to want a 1-inch margin. So what I'm doing is I click inside the ruler and drag and put it at 1 inch. Okay, it's right there. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one over here, except it's going to be 7.5. All right, well, I got it close. It's not right, but it's close. And same thing on the top. Let's go down 1 inch. And we're going to drop another one down at 10. Okay, so this area inside is what you have to play with because there's going to have to be a margin all the way around. We could probably squeeze it to, half an inch, but I think it's probably safe to do it this way, especially because you're going to have the where the pages, go in the center where they kind of are connected. So at least I would say 1 inch would be good. Now, that doesn't mean you can't put stuff in this area. Just know that the possibility of it being cut off is very real. So inside this area, 1 inch all the way around is going to be your safe area. Now, one of the things that you might do first is add your title. Now, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can put it at the top, and we'll call this article. Don't type this, but I'm just using it as a placeholder for the text. And again, your layout doesn't have to look like this. I'm going to hit center justify. And, obviously we're going to try different fonts. Okay. 200. Maybe 250. All right. So there's my article title. I can put it at the top. A lot of times what people will do is they'll put it here and then they'll put a picture, let's say up here. Okay. Obviously, you're not going to use this box. You could do that if you wanted to put a stroke around it and then make the fill nothing. So at least you can see where the picture is going to be. Then we got to put in any text. Now, before I do that, and you might do these separately. I think this is a good plan to do them separate. So I'll make another text box for underneath. Now, you don't have to have a subtitle, but let's say, my making art cool. I'm just making stuff up. Okay, so you might have a subtitle under the article title, and you're also going to need text. Now, I think what we need to do is we need to decide on, well, you know what? I would say let's pick something boring for the text. something simple. Let's see, what's a nice easy one? Honestly, it doesn't matter as long as it's something very simple. Your text for your article needs to be 12 point. Okay. And the article, that looks really small. Wonder why it's set at pixels. That's weird. Let's see if we can change it from pixels to points. I don't know why it's pixels, because that looks really small to me. I mean, I can change this text stuff once I get it into the other program, but let me see what's going on here. If that's going to be super small. Maybe I'll just kind of give you a generic size for now. Yeah, that looks really small to me. So you ideally when you're printing, you want it to be 12 point, but for some reason they don't do the text as points in this program. That's really bizarre. So let's say between 35 and 40 for most fonts. I think it depends on the font. It's going to change how much you can fit. So here, wonder if this gives me the option to fill with text. It doesn't. Let's see, does it give it to me in here? It doesn't let me right click. All right, so you're just going to paste your article into here, your interview stuff. And then let's say maybe you want another box. So I'll move this over here. But really, that's kind of the way to set it up. Let's see if I can. Oh, that's not it. Let's see. Can I? Oh, I know how you do it here. Edit, transform. It does give me free transform. Oh, it's right here. Free transform. Sorry, I haven't used Photopea in a while. Now, something you might do is put a guide in the center. So it's going to be 4 1/4. So 4.250. So you know where the center of the page is. And that way, when you do these things, you know where everything is supposed to fit. Okay, so I'll put a picture here, a picture here. So let's go back to this shape. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see, what's what? That's down there. That's up there. Okay. So I've got this selected. Open and place. Let me find a picture we can throw in there. It doesn't really matter what it is. Let's go band teacher feature. We'll throw this one in. Yeah, see, it doesn't do it. So that's okay. So if I know that's how big I want it to be, I can do this. And then I can crop it to be the size. Oh, no, I can't. I can't crop. I need to cut it. So there's a couple ways I can do this. I can use the marquee tool to select it. Use the arrow keys to move it down. Now it's not going to let me do anything. It says must be rasterized first. So I have to rasterize first. And then I can delete the stuff I don't want. Now it's a little tricky. Doing it. And I can turn that off. Okay. There you go. That's how you can start your article. Now let me show you what the page looks like. View. Turn off the rulers. Oops, I need the rulers. going to turn off the guides. I don't want to get rid of them. Okay, so that's my page so far. Let me turn this guy back on. Okay, so you can see your text would go there. Okay. Now, you may want to get a little more creative with it and put a picture in the background. So let me go here and open and place. And let me find maybe something we're not using. All right, I would never use this, but let's just say this is the one we use. Okay, so I'm going to blow this up so it fills the page. Okay, that's really awful. I would never ever do this. But let's say this is a background of some sort. And then I'm going to turn it way down so it's barely there. So that's another way to make your page interesting. So it's got kind of a little ghost image, you know, maybe even down to like 15%. So it's just barely in there because you don't want your background image to distract from the rest of the article. Okay, let's say I want another pic down here, open in place. Let me go back to the real ones. Yeah, let's use this one. Okay, this pic will go down here. I'm going to blow it up. Ooh, see what I did? It's stretched. We do not want stretched images. So let's move this. Oops. Control Z. I'm on the wrong tool. That's the problem. Get my transform controls. And let's move this picture. Now you want to hold down Shift and grab the corner to get it the right size. Now here's another little trick. If I zoom in on this so I can see what I'm doing, use my little hand to get where it wants. This will be a lot easier in Photoshop, but it's what we got. So, okay, use my little marquee tool. I use the arrow keys to move it over a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're not really using the box. Just get it to where we want it. And then if I go select inverse, what it does is it selects everything but the picture. And that way, after I rasterize it and I hit delete, it deletes everything outside of the picture. Okay, so see how it's all selected, everything but the picture. So one more time, I selected the picture and then I went select inverse to get everything else. And then I deselect, Control D. Now I can turn off this shape and that shape. And that's pretty much how you do it. I mean, it's fairly simple. Now we can get a little more interesting with our text because we have some text effects that we can use. We can go in here and bevel and emboss. Change the depth on this. Size. I want emboss. So yeah, you can do all that kind of stuff to make it more interesting, you know. All right. That's how you get started. Now you can still put a box around the shapes or around the pictures, but you're going to do it as a stroke. And we're going to change this to black because we don't want a red box. See how we did that? Now as you get bigger, it gets rounded, and that might not be what you want. So if you keep it very small, it looks okay. All right. And that's how we do it.